Hello, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Thomas Wooden Railway 2022 Thomas, Edward, and Percy. I did get all of these quite a while ago, so you can see Thomas's box is actually a little bit sun-faded, which is kind of a shame. I'm not too sure how it got sun-faded, but yeah, the rest of the boxes are okay, though. But yeah, anyway, I'll stop wasting time, and we will look at Thomas, so let's just get him out. First, I want to actually talk about the packaging, though. I think it's quite cool how you can slide them out and how it's, like a proper box instead of just a sort of cardboard back with a plastic bubble on the front, but I'm not really a big fan of the design. I think the plain white just doesn't really look all that eye-catching, and having the engine's name on the side here just, I don't know, I feel like it would be better if we had sort of a light blue and then the engine's name up here. I think that would have looked a lot more appealing. And then on the back, again, I think it would have been better if we had sort of a character synopsis there instead of just loads of words. But yeah, anyway, that's enough about the box. I do think it's cool how it opens up, but the overall design I think could be improved. Here is the Thomas. I think we'll start off with the good. I think I like how we've got this splasher here, because before the splasher was kind of just here and, it didn't even go over the actual wheel. I like how we've got sort of a firebox effect there. You can kind of see the light in the cab, which is really nice. I do quite like the printed rivets and handrails. I know some people might not be a fan of that, but I don't mind it. And the face it's not bad. The expression looks a little bit cartoony, to be honest, but it's not terrible. It's not like it's an all engines go face. It still is based on the CGI series. But yeah, anyway, now I think we should get onto the negatives, which I think first off, it's the elephant in the room, it's the wheels. Why did they design the wheels like that? I mean, like, from the side, he looks okay, but from the front, he just looks like a monster truck. It looks so weird. Just for comparison, here's a 2002 Thomas, and there's a 20-year difference between these toys, which is kind of crazy to think about. Look at how far out the wheels stick out. What was wrong with these wheels? I don't know. Honestly, there's not that much else wrong with it. I mean, the face does look a bit cartoony, but I mean, other than the wheels, I think it's actually really good. I think the funnel could do with being a bit taller. But maybe you disagree. But yeah, I think this is really nice. Here's a 2002 Thomas. You can see what I was talking about with the splasher here. This one actually goes over the wheel, and this one is just in between it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much Thomas. So we will move on to Edward next. Now, Edward's box is the same design, obviously, but let's just get him open. But yeah, here is Edward. The reason I got Thomas, Edward, and Percy is because, in my opinion, I think they're probably the best in the range. I know some people might disagree and say, Henry is or Gordon is, and, that's fine. It's just my opinion. Yeah, anyway, let's look at Edward, and I have to say, he looks really good. I really like the length, and I love how we've got an accurate wheel configuration. That's really nice. So yeah, anyway, we'll start off with the front, I think. So yeah, I forgot to mention on Thomas, we've actually got printed buffer beam detail, which is really nice to see. Yeah, but he has the same problems with the wheels, which I'm not really a big fan of the wheel design. I like the printed detail on them. But yeah, other than that, the thickness just does not look very good. Anyway, Edward's face is just really weird. Why would you give him a shocked face for his standard release? Like, that just doesn't really make sense, honestly. Why not just give him a smiling face? That would have been so much better. He actually has some coupling rod detail along the running board, which It's quite interesting, honestly. It's a bit weird how it's floating above the wheels. I do kind of get what they were going for, and I think it does look kind of cool. He has that same sort of firebox detail as Thomas did. If we look at the tender, it's kind of weird, to be honest. The chassis looks too tall. And I know they did it so that it would line up with the height of Edward, but I don't know, it just looks a bit weird, to be honest. And the wheels are too spaced out. I feel like they should be a bit closer together. Like, I understand why they didn't make it a 6-wheel tender, because that would make it look too long in comparison to Edward, but why did you make the wheels so far apart? It just looks weird. Another problem that I have with this, actually, is that all of the bogies are plastic. The tender chassis is plastic, the bogies are plastic. It's really cheap. It's called Thomas Wooden Railway. Why would you make it plastic? Now I'm going to compare him to a 2003 Edward. This is actually the Talking Railway series version. I don't actually have a standard Edward for some reason. Yeah, but these two are just totally different. Like, the length difference is insane. But although this Edward is a lot smaller, his tender is actually a little bit bigger than the newer tender. But I think something this one definitely does better is the correct wheel configuration. It just looks so much better than this weird oval row wheel configuration that the original one had. But weirdly, something I don't think I've seen anyone point out is the quality of the printing, because honestly the quality's really bad. It just looks so grainy and pixelated, whereas you look at this one and it's clear that the detail has been painted on, and it looks a lot crisper, whereas all the detail on this one is just printed on and it just looks really grainy. Yeah, but I know it sounds like I'm hating on this and that I don't like it, but I do actually really like this, and I do think that this is really good. But yeah, honestly, I know a lot of people disagree, but I think this Edward is actually a little bit better than this one. I think with Thomas, it's a bit more difficult because I think this one just overall does a really good job of capturing Thomas. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on which one's better in the comments. But anyway, let's move on to Percy. And here he is. And I have to say, Percy is definitely the best in the range. I just think his proportions look really good, and on Percy, I don't think the wheels look that bad. I think the larger wheels kind of complement his design a bit more, you know, because it makes him look a little bit smaller. And the extra details look really nice. He has that same firebox glow effect as the rest of the engines, and he also has a plastic coal load, which is really nice. Honestly, I think Percy's probably affected the worst when it comes to the problem with the printing. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but just look at how pixelated the number 6 is. I don't know why they print it like that. It looks awful. But yeah, anyway, there's some more things that I like about this. I like how he's got a separate gold dome, or copper dome. And I like how we've got the cylinders on him, which is really nice, and we've also got step ladders there. But yeah, I think Percy is really good. And the face, for some reason he has a shocked expression. Unlike Edward, I do not dislike this face. I actually really like it. And just for a comparison, here is a 2003 Percy, and there is just such a big difference that it's crazy. I think it's pretty easy to say that this one is better, because this Percy just looks way too long, but this one is the perfect size. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I do think it is a shame that this line is ending, because I think it is really good. Although it's not all that surprising that it was ending, because these weren't even released in any stores in the UK. The only place you could really get these was on Amazon. I got my ones on Tootley Thomas. So if you live in the UK and you want to get the Thomas Wooden Railway 2022 items, then I recommend you get them off of Tootley Thomas. But But yeah, that's it for this video. I'd love to know your thoughts on these engines in the comments. But yeah, thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.